Will AI totally replace the need for HR at your small business or startup? I'm Joey Price, and this is your HR Minute. There has been a lot of conversation these days about the role of artificial intelligence, the role that it can play in HR technology, especially in the small business space. But while there are lots of dreams, goals, and aspirations, I think that the reality of execution is not going to be as much of a grand scale as people think. And here's a few reasons why. One, technology usually comes in there's a way that it's adopted into the business climate. Usually, groundbreaking technology starts at the enterprise level, which is going to be for larger scale companies, and then it finds its way to smaller organizations. So your small businesses, your startups, your medium-sized firms. Um, because technology always has this way of needing to be tweaked, and also the price points have to be right for small businesses to adopt it into their way of doing business. Think about accounting software or bookkeeping software, how it was initially targeted at large enterprises, and then you had companies like Quicken and Lotus and things of that nature coming in and targeting the small business community. So we're still a ways away for large-scale adoption of artificial intelligence in the enterprise space. So I think there's a few years before we see it in small businesses. Another thing is that even if we do, and when we do get to that point of AI being adopted, who's to say that it's going to catch on? We've seen quite a few technologies where there was a lot of promise, but then it fizzled out. I can think of the conversations now of AR and VR and how businesses are still trying to find the business case and the profitable point of using augmented reality and virtual reality in their products. Nowadays, it's easy to test the market of, will this technology work? Will this get adopted? And there's a lot of fanfare around technologies with large voices. But the reality is, at the end of the day, it's a customer's decision on how to implement a technology or whether or not to implement the technology. And so the verdict is still out on AI in small business. The next thing I'd say is that even if we do get to a point where AI finds its way into small business software, it still can't replace the valuable role of an HR professional overseeing your business ventures. And here's why. There is no software that you could download to really understand the changing landscape of legal compliance. There's no software you can download at this point that would understand emotionally intelligent responses to individuals. There is no technology at this point where you can rely solely on technology to conduct an investigation into matters of sexual harassment or embezzlement or any other really severe instances where HR professionals and labor attorneys are pulled into the matters. And honestly, if you were having a crisis at work, are you going to talk? Are you going to talk to a computer software, or do you want to talk to a person? And so that's why I say, regardless of where we fall in the adoption process of AI in small business, I just don't see it overtaking the role of an HR professional. Now, I will say and caution to those that are studying HR at this point that the barrier of entry into your career as an HR professional, if you're looking to start in a small business, that barrier is going to get a little bit higher because now you're going to see AI taking on a lot of those entry-level tasks that a young professional or a person early on in their HR career might traditionally take. So you want to make sure that you always have a strategic component to your HR education so that you can show your value right away. So those are my takes on AI and HR technology in a small business, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. And I'll see you next week on the HR Minute.